Unlocking the great prophecy of Enoch, a transformational awakening awaits as heavens unveil. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It was a night like no other. The chilling wind whispered secrets through the trees, caressing my skin, sending ripples of energy coursing through me. The moon hung heavy in the sky, throwing down silver beams, illuminating a world that felt alive, pulsing with hidden truths waiting to be unveiled. I found myself standing at the edge of a fog-laden forest, hesitant, as if the very ground beneath my feet trembled with anticipation. Was I really prepared for what lay ahead? My heart raced as doubt crept in, clouding my mind. I was on the brink of something monumental, a transformation I could feel immersing my every thought. Just yesterday, I stumbled upon an ancient text, remnants of Enoch's prophecy, revealing whispers of an awakening that promised to shake the foundations of existence. Could this be real, or was I merely lost in the labyrinth of my own hopes? The air crackled with energy, vibrant yet unsettling. I closed my eyes, surrendering to the moment, trying to discern any signs. A rustling in the shrubs piqued my curiosity, causing my stomach to knot. Familiar scents of rain-soaked earth and blooming wildflowers enveloped me like an embrace. I opened my eyes, drawn to a flash of movement. A shadow seemed to dart between the trees. I strained to peer into the depths of the woods, but the fog thickened, wrapping itself around my thoughts, blurring reality. A sudden stillness blanketed the atmosphere. My breaths became shallow. I could almost hear the heartbeat of the earth, the rhythmic pulses resonating deep within. Yet there was an unease, a question unanswered, hanging in the air between the whispers of the forest. What lies beyond the veil of ordinary perception? As I ventured deeper, shadows danced playfully, only to reveal the frayed edges of unexplainable happenings. I stumbled upon a clearing crowned by ancient stones, each engraved with cryptic symbols that felt like eyes, watching, waiting. My pulse quickened. Every nerve in my body screamed. Something greater was unwilling to reveal itself just yet. Then, out of nowhere, a fleeting vision flashed before me, silhouette of a figure draped in light, arms wide, inviting, daring me to step closer. My throat tightened. I wanted to reach out but froze. I was caught in a celestial web, unearthed secrets spinning around me, whispering my name. I was at the cusp of awakening, teetering between worlds. The ground beneath quaked lightly, a foreshadowing of what remained undiscovered. I felt pulled, as if gravity itself was conspiring to thrust me forward. But just as I was ready to embrace the unknown, a blinding light erupted from amidst the stones, consuming everything in its path. The world blurred into white, shrouding me in uncertainty. My heart raced with fear, excitement, and an insatiable yearning. What awaited beyond this radiant curtain? Every instinct told me to lean in, but was I ready? Trusting the signs of a prophecy from ages long past, or was I inviting chaos into my world? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The light encapsulated me, a cocoon seemingly woven from threads of time and essence. I closed my eyes against its brilliance, drawn inward, yet I could feel my surroundings transforming. Fleeting memories flashed, faces of those I loved, moments of joy and pain, stitched together like a tapestry revealing the richness of a life once thought ordinary. Each recollection pulled at my heart, awakening a sense of purpose deep within, like a softly flickering flame. As the overwhelming luminance began to fade, I sensed the presence of something immense. I opened my eyes slowly, the world around me shifting back into focus, the clearing, the ancient stones, but now they pulsated with a shimmering aura. The atmosphere hummed with anticipation, urging me to delve deeper into whatever awaited. From the edge of the clearing, an ethereal voice broke the silence, tinged with familiarity like an echo of an ancient memory. Child of Earth, seeker of truth, the path stretches before you. It calls not only your mind but your spirit. Have you gathered the courage to unravel the prophecy your heart has sought? My gaze darted toward the source. Standing amidst the stone sentinels was a figure draped in robes that flowed like liquid sunlight. Eyes shining with wisdom, they bore an expression of knowing, as though they understood everything I had faced in my existence, the burdens and the hopes. "Who are you?" I asked, voice trembling, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. "I am a steward of the unseen, a guide in your quest for awakening. You are at a threshold, beyond the light, the answers you seek await but not without trials. The journey is the essence of becoming." I nodded, heart pounding fiercely. My resolve began to strengthen in their presence, the flickering flame within me roaring to life. "How do I start?" A serene smile played across their lips. "The world is more than what it seems. Each sign you encounter is a thread, weaving your soul's awakening into the fabric of existence. The first step is to embrace your fierce and necessary passage to understanding the mysteries hidden within." "What haunts you most?" I hesitated, memories flooding in times I had doubted myself, feared rejection, and sought validation beyond my own heart. "I fear the unknown. I fear stepping into my own truth. What if the prophecy leads to chaos?" "You are already tangled in chaos," they replied gently, the warmth of their voice soothing the tumult. "Chaos is not your enemy, it is the catalyst for transformation. Without it, how will you discern the light? Venture forth, embrace it, and you will discover clarity." I felt the weight of their words settle upon me, encompassing my spirit with a mixture of fear and excitement. Then, like petals opening to the dawn, new revelations emerged. What if my truth shatters what I've known? What if it changes everything? Change is integral to rebirth. Do not shy away from that which awakens your essence. The next sign on your path seeks you, look for one rooted in nature, as she shields the wisdom of ages. Trust what resonates in your heart, for therein lies the key to your awakening. The luminous figure stepped back, blending into the surrounding light, leaving only their words lingering in the air. I found myself alone once more, the shadows of the trees swaying gently, bidding me to explore further. With resolve crystallizing in my heart, I turned my attention to the stones surrounding me. Each symbol now pulsated with energy, calling out, urging me to come closer. I traced my fingers along their edges, feeling a pulse synchronizing with the beat of my own heart. Suddenly, one symbol flared brighter than the rest, embodying an energy I couldn't ignore. I remembered the voice's instruction, look for signs. As I stepped back, the chill of night wrapped around me, whispers from the forest intensified, inviting me to explore the hidden sanctum beyond my immediate vision. There was no denying it, the unknown lay ahead, enticing yet daunting. It was both a call to adventure and a reminder of all I had yet to confront, what awaited me beyond the next turn. More questions danced in my mind than answers, but amid the chaos lodged a compulsion to understand and unveil the true essence of my being. If I surrendered to this journey, could I emerge from the darkness into a transformative realization of self? The silence enveloped me, filled with the weight of untold stories yet to be told. The unfurling of destiny beckoned me onward, but would I have the courage to face the unknown head-on? As the trees whispered and the moon shimmered above, I took a resolute breath, ready to carve out my path through the labyrinth of existence, unaware of the trials that still lay ahead. The chill of the night air prickled at my skin as I ventured deeper into the forest's embrace. Every sound, from the rustle of leaves to the distant call of an owl, seemed to conspire to guide me on my journey. Each step felt significant, each breath a pact with the unfolding mystery. The path beneath my feet was illuminated by scattered silvery light, the moon refracting through branches above, casting intricate shadow patterns reminiscent of the symbols on the stones. Then, within the silence, a shimmering flicker caught my eye, a soft glow pulsating from behind a cluster of ancient oak trees. Drawn toward it like a moth to flame, I approached cautiously, my pulse quickening. As I reached the tree line, I saw a massive tree, its trunk radiating a golden hue, leaves shimmering as if dusted with starlight. It was unlike anything I had ever seen, a sacred beacon in the heart of the forest that I felt compelled to touch it, but as my palm connected with the bark, a rush of warmth surged through me. The world blurred, and I could see images flashing before my mind's eye, people gathered around firelight, children dancing, laughter echoing through time, and seasoned elders sharing wisdom under a starlit canopy. I was wrenched into the essence of their gatherings, layer upon layer of humanity's collective spirit washing over me. Sacred oak, keeper of ancestral whispers, I breathed, my voice barely a whisper. What do you wish to reveal? Suddenly, the images coalesced into clarity, and among them, one figure stood apart, a woman, her features illuminated with warmth, clutching a scroll engraved with symbols echoing those I had seen on the stones. Seek the lost truths, she spoke, her voice resonating through the very essence of the tree. For every leaf holds a story, every branch a path. Unraveling the prophecy demands that you seek not just the way, but the heart of it. What heart? What truth? I felt the urgency of the question, the need to grasp what could not yet be fully understood. Fear constrains, love liberates, she answered, almost cryptically. In the depths of your fear lies your freedom. Look among the branches. As I raised my gaze, I noticed the tree was alive with energy, and hidden among its leaves, a series of symbols began to glow in succession. They mirrored the markings on the stones, revealing a connection deeper than I had realized. They seemed to point toward a cluster of crystals nestled at the base of the tree, refracting light, drawing the shadows of the forest closer. I knelt, heart racing, as I reached for the crystals. Each one pulsated with a different essence. The first was a deep emerald green, evoking images of groundedness and growth. The second sparkled like the sun, fierce and fiery, igniting ambition and passion. The last was a tranquil blue, invoking the depth of oceans and the calm clarity of the sky. These are pieces of yourself, the woman's voice lingered in my mind. You must harmonize them to awaken the truth you've forgotten. What resonance lay in these crystals? I held them close, feeling their energy wane and wax with each beat of my heart. I closed my eyes, envisioning a bridge forming between the energies within me and those emanating from the crystals. With each breath, I surrendered to the wisdom they offered, my fears transforming into questions, unraveling the stories hidden in their depths. How do I integrate these truths? How do I manifest the awakening I crave without fear? The interplay between chaos and transformation swirled in my consciousness, and as I reopened my eyes, I realized the forest had shifted. It was alive with a different energy, harmonizing with the ebb and flow of my essence. As I stood, cradling the crystals, I felt a profound connection to both the earth beneath my feet and the cosmos above. And then, in a moment of serenity, the realization settled in: what if the prophecy wasn't an end or a singular truth to be unlocked, but a lifetime of continual discovery? Each step further into this journey would reveal another layer of myself and the universe, with a renewed sense of purpose. I stepped back and turned toward the path that continued to wind into the shadows and the unknown. What awaited me next? Would I find the courage to face not only the trials that accompanied the unknown but also the truths that might challenge my very essence? As I pressed onward, the questions amplified: how does one navigate the intertwining destinies of love and fear? And what if the greatest revelations lie not in the answers, but in the courage to ask? The forest seemed to hold its breath as I stepped forward, the weight of the three crystals nestled against my chest pulsating with each heartbeat. The air thickened, an electric charge enveloping me, raising the fine hairs on my arms. It was as if the very essence of the woods recognized my presence and the quest I now embarked upon. That I walked cautiously, absorbing the vibrant whispers of the forest around me. Every rustle in the underbrush sounded like a hushed conversation, each creaking branch a testament to the ancient stories woven into the fabric of this sacred space. It dawned on me that I was not traversing this realm alone. The spirits of those who had walked these paths before me seemed to watch, guiding my footsteps, blessing my journey. As I continued deeper, the trees grew denser, their trunks sprawling with age, some twisted and gnarled. Suddenly, I stumbled upon a clearing illuminated by an unexpected glow. At its center stood a circle of stones, arranged meticulously, each embellished with symbols that mirrored the crystals. These weren't mere carvings, they were intricate, alive with energy, a cosmic language etched into the earth. In awe, I approached, the stones radiating warmth as if they awaited my arrival. I felt the pull of the circle, an invitation to step inside its embrace. With each step, I could sense the pulse of the earth beneath my feet and the energy from the crystals mingling with the ancient wisdom emanating from the stones. Kneeling at the center, I placed the crystals on the ground, each finding its place within the circle. The landscape shifted before my eyes, though I remained rooted in this moment, branches reaching toward the heavens. Tendrils of light began to weave around the crystals, forming a tapestry of connections that flickered like stars come to life. In that breathtaking instance, a voice emerged, not loud, but resonant, emerging from the whispers of the stones. You have summoned the essence of the past, you have become the keeper of the path. Within you manifests the stories of countless souls, their struggles and triumphs waiting to be known. The shadows danced closer. A figure emerged from the edge of the clearing, ethereal and radiant, a guardian of the forest, draped in a cloak woven from mist and moonbeams. I am Lyra, the keeper of echoes, she said, her voice a smooth melody that resonated with my very core. You have awakened the first layer of understanding, yet the journey into truth demands you surrender to the questions that arise. Questions? I replied, enraptured and bewildered. There was weight to her words, the promise of unveiling even deeper layers of my own existence. What am I to ask? How will I know the right questions? Ask what lies beneath your fears, she replied, gliding closer, her presence both comforting and formidable. Ask where love has woven through pain to grant you strength. This journey is not simply about revealing truths, it is about embracing the unanswered. Each encounter, each fear faced, reveals insights unimagined. A potent curiosity ignited within me. What if my fear is a veil, hiding the path to liberation? I murmured aloud. What if love, indeed, lies at the core of my understanding? Explore these questions, Lyra encouraged, radiating an understanding that transcended my fears. Seek the origins of your barriers, those threads of conditioning that keep you bound. Fear takes many forms, it often wears a guise of safety. Only by peeling away these layers can you harness the wealth of transformation. As she spoke, the stones vibrated with the truth of her words, resonating with an understanding that was primal yet profound. I closed my eyes, surrendering to the wisdom that wrapped around me. What if I allowed myself to explore fear as a companion rather than an adversary? What new revelations could emerge if I walked willingly into the heart of uncertainty? Opening my eyes, I turned my gaze back to the guardian. How do I begin this exploration? How do I confront my fears without succumbing to their weight? The journey begins with inquiry, she replied, her eyes shimmering like starlight. Turn inwards and observe your fears without judgment. What triggers them? What stories do they tell? In this exploration lies the path to integration and harmony. As Lyra faded back into the shadows, a newfound resolve settled within me. The fires of courage stoked in my heart ignited an urge to ask, to confront the fears that had woven themselves into the fabric of my being. I looked back at the circle of stones, feeling the energy flow between them and the crystals, and knew this was not the moment to seek answers but rather to ask my questions toward transformation. Stepping out of the stone circle, I inhaled deeply, the forest air fragrant with possibilities. My heart pulsed with anticipation, each beat ringing with the specter of the unexplored. As I pressed forward into the thicket, I felt echoes of past traumas intertwined with hopes for the future. What secrets lingered in the shadows? What fears awaited my recognition, calling to be understood rather than resisted? The questions spiraled, expanding into infinity, leaving me with a resonant understanding. Sometimes, the heart of our journey lies not in the discoveries we make, but in the courage we muster to ask the questions that lead us there. With a newfound curiosity coursing through my veins, I continued my journey deeper into the forest, keenly aware of the stories I hadn't yet heard and the fears I was yet to confront. Each step felt like traversing not just the earth beneath my feet, but also the very landscapes of my mind, each branch above serving as an archway to a deeper understanding of myself. The forest thickened, the air rich with the scent of damp earth and longing. I couldn't shake the feeling that time unraveled here, where past, present, and future coalesced into an eternal now. As I wandered, a feeling enveloped me, a calling that seemed to guide me, leading me to a weathered path woven through the ferns. Shadows danced with the flickering light, whispering secrets I was beginning to understand but could not yet articulate. That I became conscious of a rhythm, a heartbeat I could not see but felt resonating in my core. Then, without warning, I stumbled upon a small brook, its clear waters bubbling over smooth stones, reflecting the dappling light overhead. Drawn by its serene presence, I knelt beside it, my fingers skimming across its cool surface, sending ripples shimmering outward. The brook seemed alive, the water carrying voices, soft murmurs that beckoned to me. Listen to the flow, every current holds a lesson. I closed my eyes, focusing my awareness on the sound of the water. It was both gentle and persistent, a reminder of how life continued unabated, carving new paths through the toughest of rock. It dawned on me that understanding my fears would be much like navigating this brook, allowing myself to flow instead of swim against the current. In that moment of reflection, a figure approached, emerging from the shadows of the trees. Cloaked in greens and browns, resembling the forest itself, an elder stood before me, her hair cascading like cascading leaves, alive with the colors of sunset. Her eyes were deep pools, mirroring the brook, and her presence enveloped me in warmth. "I am Morella, the seer of the woods," she introduced herself, her voice a soothing breeze that carried the weight of ages. "I see you seek the stories behind your fears." "Yes," I admitted, captivated by the depth in her gaze. "But I struggle to discern them. What if I do not even know where to begin?" "Understanding often requires stillness," Morella replied. "In silence, listen to the echoes of your heart. What stirs in the depths when fear calls to you? Each fear is born from a story, and within every story lies a lesson waiting to unfold." Her words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. I thought of Lyra's counsel and the fears I had yet to summon. But what if the stories are painful? What if the answers are cloaked in shadows I cannot bear to face? "Ah, but true strength lies in facing those shadows," Morella smiled, her expression kind and knowing. "Each moment of discomfort can lead to greater clarity. You must first be willing to navigate the currents of your own soul, even the turbulent waters. Fear can be transformative if you let it guide you toward your truest essence." I gazed into the water, contemplating Morella's words. Was my fear merely a reflection of the stories I had suppressed? What if the key to unlocking my truth lay in sharing these narratives, even to myself? An image of my younger self, a Erisian echo of innocence overshadowed by doubt. Why had I hidden that part away? With deliberation, I allowed the waters to carry the unspoken questions outward. What stories lie within me that I have yet to confront? What have I hidden beneath the waves of time? How can I embrace the pain to reveal the love that strengthens me? Morella nodded, an encouraging glint in her eyes. "Let the brook show you the way. Each ripple speaks, each stone bears witness. When you are ready to listen, the stories will flow forth with the energy of your transformation, a current moving you toward understanding. But remember, you must be open, even to what you fear most." Her words danced in my mind as I sat beside the brook, welcoming the silence. What awaited me beneath the surface? I released a deep breath, clearing my heart of resistance. As I stared at my reflection in the water, the image began to shift, morphing into faces of those I loved and lost, their smiles mingling with tears of past sorrows, a wide spectrum of experiences that had crafted the tapestry of my life. I stood, invigorated yet contemplative, ready to move forward. With every step, I felt the forest aligning with my purpose, every rustle nudging me closer to understanding. What if my willingness to face fear not only transformed me but connected me to the legacies of those who came before? What if the answers I sought were not just mine but belonged to a greater narrative weaved within the fabric of existence itself? Questions unspooled within me as I continued down the path. I couldn't shake the sensation that I was merely at the beginning of a profound chapter, where each inquiry I embraced would reveal layers yet unexplored. As I journeyed on, I held one truth close: the heart of this quest lay not solely in answers, but in the courage to ask, to listen, and to understand the depths of my spirit's yearning. The brook's murmurs faded into the layers of the forest as the trees began to converge again, inviting me deeper into their embrace. With every footfall, I sought more than just enlightenment. I sought the reconciliation of my heart with the world, eager to let the shadows of fear guide me toward the light of understanding. What would I uncover on this journey, and who would I become by the time I emerged from the depths of my own awakening? The mystery lingered, and my soul yearned to discover the answers intertwined within the great prophecy yet to unfold. As I continued my journey, the trees thickened into a cathedral of their own making, towering above me with an ancient wisdom that both comforted and daunted. Each trunk bore witness to the weight of time, and I couldn't help but feel small beneath their looming presence. Sunlight trickled through the canopy, scattering down in luminous patches that seemed to beckon me further into the heart of the forest. There was magic here, and I felt it swirling in the air, a whispering current urging me to keep pushing forward. With Morella's words reverberating in my mind, I allowed curiosity to guide me. Would the forest yield more secrets? What revelations awaited me in its depths? I followed an indistinct trail further into the greenery, each step echoing the steady beat of my heart, as the rhythm of the woods enveloped me like a well-worn cloak. As I ventured deeper, a rustling sound caught my attention. Turning slowly, I found a small clearing where foliage gave way to an expanse dotted with vibrant wildflowers, their colors a striking contrast against the soft browns and greens of the forest. In the center stood a great stone, intricately carved with symbols that pulsed with an inner light. My breath caught in my throat, drawn irresistibly forward, I approached the stone, feeling its warmth radiate into my palms as I traced the symbols with my fingers. Each engraving seemed to pulse with energy, whispering ancient stories conveying guidance and connection. I closed my eyes, letting the power of the stone envelope me while the very air thrummed with expectancy. In that moment, I was transported elsewhere. A vision unfolded before me like a tapestry woven with threads of time. I saw figures dancing under a canopy of stars, their movements seamless with the earth beneath their feet, the energy of their spirit illuminated by joy. Then, shadows flickered at the edges of this vibrant scene, merging pain and love, loss and joy, a duality that was inextricably linked. What do you seek? A voice broke through the vision, resonating deep within me. I opened my eyes to find an ethereal figure standing before the stone, a presence both familiar and strange. Draped in robes shimmering like starlight, he radiated tranquility, his eyes reflecting untold wisdom. I seek understanding, I hesitated, awed by his presence. I want to confront my fears and discover the stories that lie hidden within me. He nodded, the corners of his mouth turning up in a knowing smile. Ah, the journey to understanding is the greatest of all quests. You must first confront the fear of your own power. What do you mean? I asked, confusion stirring within me. Fear binds you, distorts your perception of what lies ahead. But there is strength within you, a flicker that can illuminate the darkest of paths. You must embrace it, for it is part of the great prophecy, the awakening of the self that knows no limitations. His words echoed Morella's, reinforcing the notion that I was on the cusp of something far greater than I comprehended. What happens if I am afraid of that power? I asked, my voice trembling. Then you will remain adrift. The power you hold is the same as the current in the brook, strong yet fluid. Your fears are tributaries leading to your truest self. To awaken to this truth, you must embolden your spirit and break free from the chains of hesitation. As I absorbed his message, waves of realization washed over me. Every fear I had clung to, very doubt had been a tether, holding me back from embracing my own light. The fear of failing, of being vulnerable, of losing all were part of the tapestry I had yet to weave fully. Am I merely one thread woven into a greater design? I contemplated aloud. What of those who surround me? Are they not all threads themselves? He inclined his head, a proud glint in his eyes. Each thread possesses a unique pattern, contributing to the collective picture of existence. Understand this, your journey is not just yours, it echoes through the lives of others, allowing the great prophecy to manifest through connection, the realization unfurled within. Interconnectedness of souls and the messages they shared. I was not alone in my fears, nor was the weight of my journey solely mine to bear. Perhaps the greatest lesson lay in recognizing how each of us was intertwined in this cosmic play, sculpting and reshaping one another's narratives with every choice we made. As I turned my gaze back to the stone, the symbols glimmered with new significance. The power of connection shifted in my thoughts, igniting a flame of courage. I closed my eyes again, surrendering to the moment, allowing the flow of energy to wash over me. What stories did my spirit still hold? What new revelations unfolded when I opened to my truth? Just as quickly as he had appeared, the figure began to dissolve into a mist of twinkling light. Remember, the transformation awaits when you choose to embrace the unknown. His voice danced around me, weaving into the very fabric of the forest. I stood in that clearing, surrounded by the whispers of the wildflowers and the vibrant energy of the stone, realizing that my path forward was illuminated by the shadows I finally dared to acknowledge. What awaited me on this unfolding journey? How could I engage with the power that lay dormant within, breathing life into the legacy I wished to weave? With these questions swirling in my heart, I embraced the uncertainty of it all and stepped forward, each footfall echoing with promise, knowing full well that the true journey was just beginning. The forest embraced me as I stepped away from the stone, a gentle reminder of the invisible threads connecting all living beings. The whispers of the leaves, the flutter of wings overhead, and the distant murmur of a stream intertwined in a symphony, each note serving as a guide towards deeper understanding. The air was thick with potential, and I felt as though the forest itself throbbed with life just beneath the surface. Instinctively, I sought the path that curved to the right, drawn by an unseen force urging me on. I traversed a narrow trail fringed with mossy stones, the ground soft beneath my feet, a plush carpet inviting exploration. I experienced a blend of exhilaration and trepidation as the canopy above shifted, allowing beams of sunlight to dapple the earth like whispers from the heavens. As I wandered, fragments of my previous encounter replayed in my mind. The ethereal figure had spoken of power, of illumination, and the unfurling revelation of the self. What did it mean to embrace the unknown? Was I truly ready to call forth the dormant fire within? Had fear become my greatest adversary, or was it simply a stepping stone toward transformation? My contemplation was interrupted by the sound of water trickling in the distance. A stream revealed itself, winding through the lush undergrowth, glistening like a silver ribbon. The temptation to pause and listen sparked a wave of curiosity, pulling me closer. I knelt down, splashing my hands in the cool, crystalline water, feeling the rush invigorate my senses. Water holds many secrets, a voice suddenly emerged, melodic and grounded. Looking up, I saw a woman emerging from the foliage, her hair flowing like the stream itself, and her presence radiated a serene confidence. She stepped forward, feet bare against the earth, harmony woven into her very being. "Why are you here, seeker?" she asked, her gaze penetrating yet kind. "I'm on a journey," I replied, my voice steady despite the flicker of uncertainty. "A quest for understanding, to confront the fears that bind me." The woman smiled knowingly as she sat gracefully by the water's edge. "Then you must gather the lessons that flow like this stream. Water flows, shapes, and carves its path despite obstacles. It reflects the strength found in surrender, the power within the ebb and flow of existence." Intrigued, I took a seat beside her. "But how do I learn to flow? How can I embrace change without fear?" She dipped her fingers into the water, sending ripples cascading outward. "By understanding what it means to let go. Each drop in this stream carries a piece of what once was, yet it moves towards what is yet to be. But hold on to nothing, for clinging is the root of fear. Learn to trust the journey. Change is simply the soul's desire to evolve." I considered her words. The imagery of water was alluring. I, too, had been a vessel of hopes, dreams, and fears. Had I really allowed the past to shape my current identity? I felt fear bubbling to the surface, the fear of losing who I was, despite the promise of becoming more. "Let every moment teach you," she continued, her voice a soothing balm. "The river of life flows through your veins. Each experience is a lesson, a current guiding you towards the vast ocean of your potential. Do not fear the depths, for therein lies your truth." As she spoke, scenes of my life began to flash before my eyes, joyful moments, painful experiences, connections that had shaped me. A realization crystallized within me: I had been resisting the current, fighting against the transformative tides. To flourish, I needed to embrace the unknown, to release the weight of my burdens and let the flow take me where I was meant to be. What if I lose sight of myself? I whispered, vulnerability rising with each word. Perhaps you will find a part of yourself reborn, she responded, her serene gaze unwavering. Remember, each transformation brings the promise of discovery. Trust in your journey and the interconnectedness that binds us all. You are not merely a fabric separate from the tapestry, you are the threads intertwined. Each moment spent in fear is a moment you have withheld your light from the world. I closed my eyes, breathing deep, feeling her words ripple through my being like the water surrounding us. With a newfound sense of courage swirling within me, I realized that the fear I had harbored was not the enemy, it was simply a signal of the evolution I was poised to embrace. When I opened my eyes again, I noticed that the stream had altered slightly, shimmering under the sunlight like a mirror of possibility. What awaits me on this path? I mused aloud, pondering the uncertainty of my journey. The woman smiled, an enigmatic glimmer in her eyes. Unlocking the great prophecy of your spirit involves asking the right questions. Remember, the answers lie not just in the shadows you must confront but also in the light you must cultivate. As she rose to her feet and gracefully began to walk away along the stream, I couldn't help but feel a bittersweet longing. Each step she took added to the ripples in the water until she became a mere silhouette against the vibrant colors of the forest. I watched her go, a sense of gratitude washing over me. With the wisdom imparted, I turned my gaze back towards the trail ahead. The forest beckoned me onward, filled with the unknown and the promise of awakening. What paths lay before me? Would I have the fortitude to embrace each moment as it came? The unanswered questions swirled in my heart, leaving me with a deep sense of wonder as I stepped further into the lush embrace of the green woodlands, eager to discover the next chapter of my journey. The trail wound deeper into the forest, a living labyrinth whispering secrets in a language older than the stones beneath my feet. Each footfall resonated with possibility as if the earth itself was urging me onward. I traversed through realms of dappled sunlight and shifting shadows, a dance that mirrored the ebb and flow of my thoughts, my fears, my longings, my thirst for truth. Reflections of the water's wisdom lingered in my mind. I could almost feel the current tugging at me, inviting me to surrender, to let go of the need to control the narrative of my existence. But as enticing as that image was, apprehension lurked on the fringes of my consciousness like a half-remembered dream, teasing me with the lingering scent of familiarity. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. The chirping of birds softened, replaced by a low hum that vibrated through the air. I paused, scanning my surroundings, my intuition urging me to stay present. That hum, I recognized, was not just sound, it was an invitation, a call from the heart of the forest. Ahead, the path opened into a clearing bathed in golden light. In the center stood an ancient tree, its trunk gnarled and twisted, yet exuding a majesty that radiated both strength and vulnerability. The branches stretched upward, reaching toward the sky, while others bowed, cradling the earth. I felt a magnetic pull toward it, a silent beckoning whispered through the rustling leaves. As I approached, a figure moved gracefully among the roots. An older man with a long white beard and skin etched with the marks of time looked up, recognition flickering in his deep-set eyes. Clad in earth-toned robes that merged seamlessly with the forest, he exuded a warmth that seemed to envelop me like a gentle embrace. Ah, the seeker returns, he welcomed, his voice resonating like a rumbling stream. You come like the leaves that fall in autumn, ready to be transformed by the winds of change. I sense there's something here for me, something I am meant to learn, I replied, my heart pulsating with a mingled sense of anticipation and caution. Indeed, he said, gesturing toward the tree with a knowing smile. Life's great riddle can be found beneath the surface, among the roots buried in the past, intertwined with the present moment. Are you ready to dig deeper? Am I ready? I echoed, a flicker of uncertainty sparking within. What if I unearth the shadows that I fear? What if I discover truths I'm not prepared to confront? Ah, but shadows are merely the absence of light. They are the veils that obscure clarity. Accepting them is the first step toward understanding your illuminated path, he said, his voice a soothing balm against my rising trepidation. You must approach the roots not with fear, but with compassion. As I knelt before the mighty tree, I traced the rough texture of its bark with my fingers, feeling history pulse through it. Each groove told a story, each wrinkle held wisdom waiting to be uncovered. But what would I find if I looked deeper? Would I embrace what I unearthed as part of my journey? The old man knelt beside me, his attention unwavering. You are not alone in feeling the weight of what lies hidden, he said. Many fear the depths of their own souls, yet from darkness comes the fertile ground of rebirth. Every scar tells a tale, and every pain holds the promise of healing. My palms pressed against the earth, I closed my eyes and breathed deeply, drawing in the scent of decaying leaves and rich soil. What lay beneath my own surface? What buried fears and dreams had I yet to face? Images flickered through my mind, every lost opportunity, every moment of doubt, every act of courage I had mustered. Remember, seeker, the old man's voice broke through the stillness, what you recover may not initially illuminate. Sometimes it is the journey into darkness that reveals the most profound light. As I opened my eyes, I noticed something glimmering at the base of the tree, a small, ornate box adorned with intricate carvings that mirrored the patterns of the bark. I felt a surge of curiosity mixed with dread. What if this box contained all that I had been too afraid to reclaim? Or worse yet, what if it housed my greatest vulnerabilities? Shall I open it? I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper. He nodded, a glimmer of encouragement igniting in his gaze. Only if you are ready to embrace the lessons hidden within. My heart raced as I reached for the box. The moment my fingers brushed the cool surface, a wave of energy pulsed through me, sending a shiver down my spine. Was I prepared for what lay inside? Would opening this box unveil truths that would irrevocably change my understanding of myself? As I lifted the lid slowly, the sun broke through a lingering cloud, illuminating the clearing in a soft, golden glow. I drew a breath, steeped in anticipation, ready to explore what awaited within, and just as the lid opened, the mysteries of my spirit began to call me forth, inviting me to question, to reflect, and to embrace each revelation. What would I discover in this moment of vulnerability? Would the contents of the box grant me the courage to finally dive into the depths of my own existence? I hesitated, bathed in light yet surrounded by uncertainty, standing at the threshold of transformation, my heart whispering a question that lingered in the air. Was this the time to unlock the greatest prophecy of my spirit? As the lid of the ornate box creaked open, a cool breeze swept through the clearing, carrying with it the scents of rain-soaked earth and fresh pine. The light revealed a collection of objects nestled within, each seemed imbued with its own story, each begging to be acknowledged. Among them lay a small mirror, its surface clouded yet intact, a bundle of dried herbs tied with a coarse string, and a worn parchment inscribed with delicate calligraphy. My fingers trembled as I lifted the mirror, drawn to the unfamiliar reflection, gazing back at me, a reflection that seemed to shift subtly with the play of light. It was as if this mirror held not just my visage, but layers of my soul, my struggles, and my triumphs, a portrait of all that I had been and all that I could yet become. What do you see? The old man asked, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. I hesitated, the weight of the artifact heavy in my hand. I see fragments of myself, pieces that seem both familiar and foreign. Indeed, he replied, for within us all lie aspects yet to be uncovered, identities waiting to emerge from the shadows. This is merely the beginning of your unveiling. Placing the mirror back, I then picked up the bundle of herbs. As I unwrapped it, a spicy aroma enveloped me. What are these? I asked, confusion mingling with intrigue. Each herb carries a purpose, he explained. They are symbols of purification, healing, and protection. In their essence, they remind you that transformation often requires the release of the old to make way for the new. I pulled away the string, letting the herbs tumble freely into my lap. Each one held a distinct energy, some invigorating, others soothing. Visions of rituals danced in my mind, of fires lit beneath starry skies, accompanied by chants that echoed through the ages, ceremonies for rebirth. Finally, I picked up the parchment, the delicate script calling to me like a distant song. It was an invocation, a call to the ancestral spirits I had long forgotten. Words flowed like water, carrying promises of guidance, protection, and clarity. I read aloud, enunciating each syllable with reverence, feeling the energy of the forest respond as if the very air thickened around me. With each word spoken, the whispers of the trees deepened as they resonated harmoniously with my voice. I felt grounded yet unmoored, a paradox of expansion. The forest swelled with life as though unseen forces were swirling with intention, echoing my call. "Do you feel it?" The old man prompted softly, his eyes keen on my marked expression. "Yes," I breathed, "but I also feel a part of me withdrawing." "What is this tension? Why do I feel conflicted?" His gaze turned contemplative. "True transformation often brings discomfort. You stand at the precipice of understanding, the longing for growth dances with the fear of leaving behind what is known. Remember, every new beginning arises from endings. I returned my focus to the swirling herbs, their potential pulsing at my fingertips. So, this encompasses both the journey inward and outward? There is no true transformation without facing what I hold dear yet must release. Precisely, he affirmed. Trace the echoes of your past, but do so with love and acceptance. Acknowledge the parts of you that are stubbornly anchored, yet never forget that transformation is perpetuated through surrender. With that, a gust of wind swept through the clearing again, carrying forth the layered fragrances of the forest, awakening my senses. An awareness washed over me, a realization of my interconnectedness with this land and my own multifaceted history. The boundaries I had drawn around my identity began to blur, suggesting the possibility of a wholeness awaiting exploration. As I gathered the items, cradling them against my chest, questions bloomed like wildflowers. What stories could I share with the world? What parts of my past must I honor to cultivate a richer future? And beyond these immediate thoughts, a deeper yearning bubbled forth. What legacy do I wish to weave into the fabric of existence? Look deeper into the mirror and let your heart speak. The old man urged, sensing my unfolding. The truth of the universe lies not in the answers but in the quality of the questions we pursue. With renewed resolve, I gazed into the mirror again, willing to venture further into its depths. What reflections awaited me? What choices would I make as I navigated the intricate pathways of my life, time stretched and twisted, revealing the infinite nature of my being? Boundless possibilities danced like shimmering motes of light around me, igniting a spark of hope. In that moment, the journey felt both daunting and exhilarating, the promise of transformation lingering tantalizingly just out of reach, and so I stood, an oracle amid the ancient trees, teetering on the edge of my own prophecy. Would I embrace the unknown? Beyond the reflections and the herbs, what mysteries lie waiting to be unearthed in the soil of my spirit, and what sacred lessons would remain to be unlocked by the end of this journey? With the mirror still cradled in my hands, I felt the weight of the forest resting on my shoulders, urging me to embrace the unknown that pulsed like a heartbeat within me. The old man's words lingered in the air around us, a reminder that transformation comes from acknowledging both the shadows and the light. As I gazed deeper into the mirror, the reflections began to shift, melding seamlessly into poignant visions. I saw a young girl, perhaps 6 years old, her laughter echoing through a sunlit meadow. She danced barefoot among wildflowers, unburdened by the complexities of life. I remembered that freedom, the exhilarating weightlessness that comes with the innocence of youth. But as the scenes unraveled, I saw shadows creeping in, faces of disapproval, moments of doubt, an internal narrative whispering accusations that I was never enough. What if I cannot escape those shadows? I murmured softly, the vulnerability of the past looming before me like an anchor dragging me down. What if they define me? Then you relinquish your power to them, the old man replied, his voice a grounding force. Remember, you are the author of your own story. Each thread of experience, joyful or painful, contributes to the rich tapestry of who you are. To evolve, you must choose which narratives to carry forward and which to release. The truth in his words washed over me like the gentle caress of the forest breeze, stirring a newfound resolve. I want to embrace my journey, I stated, a tone of determination fanning the flame of courage in my heart. But how do I begin to weave the new while honoring the old? The old man gestured to the surrounding trees, their roots buried deep in the earth yet stretching high toward the sky. Observe the interconnectedness of nature, the lives intertwine and nourish each other. The roots absorb nourishment while the branches reach for the light. You should seek balance, acknowledge the past, but allow it to nurture your growth rather than restrict it. I closed my eyes, envisioning my own roots, those cherished memories, the experiences that had shaped me, the pain I had endured. With each recollection, I felt a swell of emotion, a surge of energy breaking free. In this moment, the boundaries of my being began to expand, revealing a vast landscape of potential. The mirror in my hand reflected not just my past, but the promise of what could be transformation waiting to unfurl. That I took a deep breath, allowing the energies of the forest to suffuse my spirit. To let go of what no longer serves me, to embrace love instead of fear. This is my path, I whispered, resonating with a truth I felt in every fiber of my being. I lowered the mirror, placing it gently back into the ornate box, ready to integrate each part of my journey into a new whole. What is next? I asked, turning to the old man, an unmistakable eagerness igniting within me. Now, dear seeker, it is time to release the objects that no longer resonate with the essence of who you can become, he replied, his voice rich with wisdom. Use the herbs, let them signify the old narratives you choose to discard. As you free them into the earth, visualize what you wish to transform. Summoning my courage, I gathered the dried herbs, their fragrance filling the air. I felt their energy weaving into my own, merging the lessons of the past with the potential of the future. Kneeling down, I created a small circle in the rich soil surrounding the tree and began placing the herbs within it, speaking aloud the aspects of my journey I was ready to relinquish: fear of inadequacy, need for validation, burden of sorrow. As each word escaped my lips, the earth appeared to shimmer in response, the very fabric of existence acknowledging my release. I felt lighter, as if a burden was dissolving from my shoulders. The afternoon sun filtered through the leaves, casting a golden glow upon my offering, amplifying the energy of my intention. Now, what will you cultivate in its place? The old man prompted, watching intently. With a determined heart, I proclaimed, I cultivate courage, connection, and the ability to love and accept myself wholly. A rush of energy surged through me, an undeniable affirmation of my commitment to this new beginning. Remember, the old man said, his eyes twinkling, to nurture these seeds as you would the soil around you. Feed them with gratitude, surround them with love, and tend to them with faith. As the last remnants of the herbs dissolved into the earth, I stood tall, feeling the warmth of the sun against my skin and the pulsing life of the forest around me. Each breath inspired clarity, every heartbeat resonated with purpose. I was no longer just a seeker, I was becoming the embodiment of my story. Now go forth, for the true prophecy lies in your hands, the old man said, stepping back into the shadows of the ancient tree, his presence lingering like a soft echo. Embrace not just the journey, but your awakening. With a heart full of light and an invigorated spirit, I stepped away from the tree, an indelible mark of transformation sculpted in my soul. The forest seemed alive with potential, each leaf shimmering in harmony with my own awakened essence. As I ventured forward into the embrace of the woods, a deep certainty filled me. This was not just an ending, but a beautiful beginning. What awaited next was uncertain, countless possibilities shimmering in the horizon of my heart. Armed with the power of questioning, the embrace of love, and the courage to navigate the unknown, I felt ready. Life sprawled before me, intimately woven with the threads of existence that whispered the age-old testament. In chaos, we find creation. In uncertainty, we discover our strength. And in vulnerability, we access the profound wellspring of our truth. As I took my first steps into the unfolding journey, the woods echoed back, "Awaken, beloved. Your story is only just beginning."